here. We did something that at least was unusual when I was here, and that is the county executive, the county council, the Senate delegation, House delegation met every Monday to go over our priorities. There were times when we got in the room, we disagreed about legislation, but the one thing we never lost focus on was putting Prince George's County first. It is the thing that I said we would do as county executive. It is the thing that we have done. I think if by any measure, this has been the most successful legislative session I have ever seen. In a budget deficit year, at a time when we were losing money in our education funding and we were losing money in the county, this delegation, with their hard work, brought back a record level of funding in a deficit year. We're going to replace, I'm going to go over some of the numbers because they're just staggering. We're restoring $10.3 million in K through 12 education funding for a total of approximately $985 million in state aid for Prince George's County. We secured $34.3 million in school construction funding. It includes an additional $9 million of direct aid from the state. We restored $8.8 million in disparity grant funding for the county school board. That should be a really round of, that was a difficult one. We secured $4 million in capital funds for critical improvement to our hospital system. Prince George's Hospital will receive that. Another round of applause for that. We secured $15 million in operating fund for Prince George's Hospital. This was one of the priorities that we set in the very beginning of the legislative season. We were able to accomplish that. So that is a great one for us. We also got $10 million grant from the Department of Transportation for our Conterra project, which will be one of the biggest projects, bigger than or as big as Tyson's Corner. So that's a big one for us to do. Very difficult negotiating on that one. And we attained $2.2 million in highway user revenues with the help of the county to maintain improvement in our transportation infrastructure. We also added, once again as our priority, we added budget language to make sure that Prince George's County, for the first time, we will have a state agency housed in Prince George's County. The Department of Housing and Community Development is coming to Prince George's County. And with some very hard work of a very skillful delegate from the chair of the Transportation Subcommittee, Prince George's County, and this is significant, was able to obtain forgiveness for $2.9 million loan from the state that we had past improvements for FedEx Field. I don't know how important you guys understand that is. We've been paying on that since I was a freshman delegate down here. We are now getting a forgiveness. That's going to help us a lot, and I want to thank Tawana Gaines for the hard work that she did in that subcommittee for us and the delegation. And most of all, I want to thank the House, the Senate, for coming together, for sticking together, and resisting the pushing of the pensions down to Prince George's County at a time we cannot afford it. Thank you very much. Let me close with this before taking questions. It is, as I've said to many of the folks up here, it's a big difference going from the legislative body to the executive body. And there have been many times in these 100+ days that I have felt very, very lonely. See how they very lonely and unsure of where we were going to go as a county, looking at the budget deficit, looking at the fact that we could not raise any additional revenues. And to think that we would stand here today having done what people thought was impossible, 1, coming together, 2, fighting hard, and 3, delivering record levels of funding for the county in this budget year. On behalf of the citizens of Prince George's County, I want to thank all of you for all your hard work. This truly is the greatest delegation. Delegate Tiffany Often coming up. Come on up, Tiffany. This truly is a great delegation, and the Senate, the House. I also want to add a personal thank you to Speaker Michael Bush for working hard with us, understanding our needs in the county and understanding the deficit we face there. And I also want to thank President Miller, who went out of his way to, in the problems we face in Prince George's County, we showed in this delegation that we can overcome them. So I look forward to great things for this county, as we often have said, and I've said it. Oh, I'm sorry. I also want to thank the governor, without whose help we would not have gotten money for Conterra, so let's not forget him. And how can, our own Lieutenant Governor, Anthony Brown, for his hard work. Let me just say, as I close on Lieutenant Governor, there were many times he called and said, listen, you need to get down here, especially around the hospital, especially around Conterra, and has offered to come work with us. And on DHCD, actually had a briefing for our senior staff to say, yes, we're coming in here. So we've been very, very blessed. But that comes from the hard work of these individuals behind me. It's easy to stand up here and, as county executive, and read off these things. The hard work was done by these individuals. I'm in Upper Marlboro. I can come down here and say, this is what we need. But they have to fight. They have to convince their colleagues to go along with them, which is not easy, because a lot of times their colleagues didn't walk away with the same amount. But they had to do it. They fought hard. They did it. And I'm just very blessed to have them, and the county is too. So with that, I want to thank you for coming out this morning. Thank you for a hard session. Rest up, because we'll need more next year. But I want to thank you very much. Great session to all of you.